The United States colonial marines are some of the toughest hombres in the Aliens universe. These men and women were trained to be able to survive and operate in remote areas, including the cold harshness of space and its unknown planets, for extended periods of time. A well-trained team of colonial marines can hold their own against most threats in an open area, but when confronted with the xenomorphs in confined areas like spacecraft or deep inside an alien hive, the marines wouldn't stand a chance. For this reason, the USCM, or the United States Colonial Marines, created the Berserker unit. The Berserker is basically a heavily armored suit that could be worn by a human pilot. These pilots would be hardwired or interfaced into the computer systems contained within the Berserker, where they would control the suit, yet it is mentioned in the Alien Berserker comic that the pilot should allow the suit to take control versus trying to control the suit yourself. It's even said that the military made the first Berserkers after learning how Ellen Ripley took on a queen using nothing more than a power loader. The first appearance of a Berserker armor was in the Aliens Tribes book. Here the suits were built by the Colonial Marines and referred to as MOXs, or Mobile Offensive Exo Warriors. These suits weighed around 2 tons and had major firepower, including a flamethrower and electroprod in the left arm, along with 25mm pulse rifles and 45mm self-pumping grenade launchers on the right arm. The pulse rifles used explosive-tipped caseless shells laced with oxidizing chemicals in order to neutralize the blood of the aliens. The MOX unit we see in Tribes is the 16th Berserker unit made by the military, thusly going by the codename of MOX 16. And because of how well it performed in combat, the team affectionately called it Shit Kicker. The later, more well-known version of the suit is made by none other than the company, Weyland-Yutani, where they use the suit for both infantry support along with alien hive incursions. These suits were referred to as MAX, or Mobile Assault Exo Warriors. The MAX armors weighed in at over 10 metric tons. They were controlled by human pilots and have an arsenal that would make any Marine jealous. This would include multiple weapons such as pulse rifles, grenade launchers, and flamethrowers, all of which were built into the arms of the suit, similar to the MOX armor. A big advantage to the suit was that it was resistant to the acid blood of the alien, their main defense mechanism. I do say resistant though because even these suits would eventually melt down from continued exposure to the acid. But this is still amazing, especially after seeing what that acid blood does to ships' floors and holes in the first Alien film. The Weyland-Yutani Max Berserker armor was so amazing that usually only one was needed in order to infiltrate an alien hive. Even the Queen herself was no match for this power armor. However, there was one glaring drawback to the suit. Simply using the suit would eventually lead to the death of the user. In the comic, it appeared that the pilot of the Berserker was forced to operate the armor, but we never do find the true identity of the pilot, or if they chose to wear it. It should be noted that the USCM version of the Berserkers were said to have been piloted by volunteers, yet they hint towards these pilots being forced into the job as well. Because of the stress put on these pilots, as well as the danger that a Berserker could cause if malfunctioned, the pilots were put into an induced coma-like state when the suit was not in use, only to be woken up into action when needed with an adrenaline cocktail of sorts, which would send the pilot and Berserker into a killing rage. It's noted in Tribes that if the pilot's sedation isn't strong enough and they're still able to dream or encounter REM sleep, then if they are woken for combat during this dream state, that they may go crazy and have before in the past, going into a rage, attacking even the other Marines and team members. A Berserker team is a small 3 to 5 man team, and they're fully capable of taking on most Xeno situations, including taking out hives and killing alien queens. A Berserker can only operate for short periods of time due to the stress on its pilot. For this reason, they use drastic measures to pinpoint the queen in a hive situation. An unlucky team member will go into the hive alone and then allow an alien to take them deeper into the hive. They do this by going limp and not fighting against the alien. They also end up using a mask designed to keep out facehuggers, but even these can only do so much. The team member will then notify the others once they're in the hive, and the Berserker will then activate and make a path of death and destruction on its way towards the queen. The units are so wild in combat, spraying fire and bullets everywhere, that the bait team members have to have a chip on them in order to keep the Berserker from killing them during the chaos of combat. These teams also set nukes throughout the hive just in case they fail on their mission, much like the Predators in AVP. And that's it guys for the Berserker units. I really enjoyed this armor and seeing just what Weyland-Yutani and the Space Marines could come up with in order to fight the aliens and gain specimens. The whole idea of having a person inside the suit is a little silly. I mean, why not just either remotely control it or give the suit an AI of some sort? But the sheer pain and terror that these pilots had to endure really fits in with the rest of the darker Aliens extended universe. Not to mention, I couldn't imagine being part of that bait team and have to be taken inside a hive just to find out where the queen is. So what do you guys think of the Berserker teams and the armor? You can read more about them in the Aliens Tribe novel, as well as in the Aliens Berserker comic, or in the Omnibus Volume 4 under the title Aliens Frenzy. Thanks for watching guys, take care, and I hope to see you next time.